Hey guys, today I'm going to run you through the important differences between low frequency and high frequency inverters and how this is going to affect your choice in a system. Before we get into the differences, I'll give you a quick piece of background information. What is an inverter? An inverter in this context is the device that converts DC power into AC power. DC or direct current is the form of power that your solar panels generate and what your batteries output when used. AC power, or alternating current, is the same power you get from the plugs out of your wall, essentially. So, an inverter does the job of changing electrical power from your batteries and panels into a form you can actually use. Now that we've got that out of the way, what does low and high frequency inverter refer to? Well, these are both general categories of inverter topologies, meaning essentially two general types that most inverter designs fall within. Within these groups, there are many different subtypes and subtopologies, so bear in mind we are simplifying and generalizing the following information. Low frequency topologies generally convert the DC power into AC power from a lower DC voltage, for example battery voltage, up to mains voltage through a large internal transformer. High frequency topologies, on the other hand, first step the DC power up or above mains peak voltage using a much smaller transformer. Then they use an additional stage of electronics consisting of a series of well-timed switches and output filters to form the AC output signal. The key difference here is that the low frequency unit operates directly at mains frequency, which cycles 50 times per second. However, the high frequency unit operates at a far higher frequency due to the smaller transformer, cycling around 20,000 to 100,000 times per second instead. That's enough of the technical stuff. What are the actual practical differences between inverters designed with these different topologies? Well, there are several things you'll notice straight away, but there are some that are a lot less obvious. Low frequency inverters are generally much larger and heavier for a similar power rating. They're also generally more expensive due to the larger internal components that are used. On the topic of these internal components, the larger internal transformer, used to step up the voltage, greatly reduces the complexity of the overall design. So you quite often see that these units will have longer warranties than their high frequency counterparts, especially for off-grid systems. Finally, due to the properties of the large internal transformer, these inverters can handle larger power spikes and startup currents, usually 300% of their rated power, which makes them more suitable for loads such as heat pumps, power tools, water pumps, essentially anything with an electric motor in it. High frequency inverters are often much lighter, smaller and lower in price than a low frequency inverter. However, to achieve this, they generally have an increased component count of smaller components, which leads to increased design complexity. In a high-end brand, this does not cause issues and you'll see longer warranties. But in low-end brands, this generally leads to more points of failure and, again, shorter warranties. However, since there is a lack of a large internal transformer, the high-frequency units generally have less ability to handle large starting currents. Typically, they can handle power surges up to around 150 to 200% of their rated power, but they're a lot more sensitive to sharp spikes in the power draw that can be caused by inductive loads such as electric motors and water pumps. When to use which one? Inverter topology is not the only factor in determining the suitability of an inverter, but it is an important piece of the context around it all to help you make your decision. So our general recommendation would be as follows. Low frequency inverters are more suited for off-grid and critical backup situations. With better tolerance for power spikes and starting loads, they are the go-to for a robust and reliable power system that is your sole source of power for an extended period of time. High frequency inverters are far more common these days. Virtually all grid-tied solar systems use high frequency inverters, as there is infrequent or no real need for the inverter to handle heavy backup loads, as they generally just rely on the power grid to absorb this extra demand or surge load. High frequency inverters are also commonly used in portable applications or smaller systems due to their reduced size and weight. We sell both types of these inverters for off-grid usage. Our flagship systems, with all the best features, they use low frequency inverters as they are the best for running full household loads off the grid. In our essentials range, we use high frequency inverters. These systems are designed to still be reliable, but at a reduced cost with reduced features. Using the high frequency inverter here is one of the ways we can help you get in a much more affordable system so you can get the power that you need. So hopefully this video helps you understand how some of the main inverter topologies might affect you. If you have any questions at all, please get in touch. We're more than happy to help. And don't forget, how you feel.